Good morning to you. It's 8:46 at iFiber One News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey, and I'm happy to focus on Shelton this week and every week at this time, brought to you by our Community Credit Union. And in studio with me today, Ryan Wheaton, the Shelton City Administrator, and an officer for the Shelton Police Department, Paul Campbell. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, Jeff.
Thanks for coming in and talking with me today on some couple of different issues. Paul, thanks for coming in. First time, I think, here on the
second time.
Second time? Okay.
Second time.
Sorry about that.
And, star.
Let's talk about some of the things that have been happening in town lately. We had just heard some reports up at the Mountain View School. There was a girl, and she was talked to by someone. Is that kind of the gist of the story, or where are we at with what's going on there?
Still under investigation, but yes. I'm also the school resource officer at Shelton, so I also handle all 7 schools. But yeah, that's pretty close. What happened last week was after school, she was walking home, and she was being slow-rolled for terminology by 2 Hispanic males in a black-type Honda car. Mm-hmm. And they were slow-rolling, just driving by, said hi, and then Mom saw that. They had eye contact with Mom, and then they drove off.
Sure.
And then this week on Monday, after school, she was walking home again, and this time it was an adult white male with black hair and beard and mustache who asked if she wanted to get in his car. And she had good safety skills in place, and so she turned around and contacted her mom, and they contacted the school, and we got involved.
And it was the same girl on both accounts?
Correct.
Wow. Is that seems to be the first time I've heard about this ever in the 10 years or so that I've been working here. This can't be a common thing,
no,
is it?
It's rare. It's very rare. Because most times when you're talking about possible child abductions, it's people that the children know, or kind of know. But stranger twice in 2 weeks, it's a rare occurrence, but I'm sure it can happen. I don't know the percentage on that.
Were there any, you mentioned a Honda, is there any other distinguishing features that people should be aware of and look on the lookout for?
She described the 2 Hispanic males dressed as a gang style, with the bandanas and looking, it's my terms, thug-like, as they drove by. But once they saw Mom watching, they drove off.
Is this common in Shelton? Is it for this type of activity to happen, maybe leaning gang-ish, if you will, or within the schools?
Last year we had a few instances where we had a rise in Hispanic gang activity between the Norteños and Serranos, and between myself, Chief Moody, and Officer Diaz, who's in the academy right now, we have training in gangs, and so we caught on to it really quick, and the schools are very active with me, and so we also caught into the middle schools. That's where most of my problems were, were in the middle schools, and we got on it really quick, found the places that they were hanging out the best we could. Most of them were in middle school, like I say, and we snapped it pretty quick. I mean, we stopped it, or at least made it go underground, for lack of better words.
Sure. So the girl was 10 years old. You mentioned that she had some good skills that she had learned. Is that something that you teach through the school district or through parental involvement?
Both. Both. It really depends. The parents really have to get involved, because I can teach only so much, but the parents have to get, I don't like to call them stranger dangers, because the kids always see us talk adults to strangers, and so now they think they're a known person. Mm-hmm. Adam Walsh and the gal who wrote the Einstein, Little Einstein. They have a program, and they use known, kind of knows, and unknowns. Mm-hmm. And I like that terminology, because kids view strangers differently than we do. And so what you do when you teach kids, I only can teach them and put the plan in place, but the parents have to put the password codes in. They're the ones that have to put the safety houses to and from school to home, those things. They have to put those boundaries in. But yeah, I can teach both.
Interesting. Ryan, when we talk about these type of events, and we get the press releases and we put them out over the radio as quickly and as best that we can. Got the Journal across the street that is able to provide information on a weekly basis. But how else are you and the city working to get this information quickly out to people?
We've noticed the last couple weeks, and this in particular, this incident really brought to light the fact that we don't have a mechanism for getting things out quickly. We're utilizing iFiber One News Radio. We are asking the Journal to publish things, but typically that is after the fact. And we've had, internally, we've had some discussions about the fact that right now we have zero presence on social media. So in the near future, we will be rolling out a social media platform plan so that we can have that dialogue with folks instantly. We also recognize that at this point, we're really not talking to anybody under a certain age, whether that's 30, 40 years old, and increasingly we're not talking to a lot of folks in town because we aren't visible on social media whatsoever.
Wow, okay.
That is something that we take very seriously. I am a father of a kid that goes to a Shelton school, and when this happened, it was clear that we did what we normally do to get the message out, but even folks inside the city didn't know that it happened until they saw it and heard about it on I-501 News Radio. So that is something that we take very seriously and we're going to improve on.
I know that when there is, excuse me, poor weather, messages are sent out within the school district. If there are other events at the school district, perhaps bomb threats or things like that, messages are sent out. Are you thinking about moving in that direction with these types of deals, or would it be a case-by-case situation?
Well, likely case by case, and the school district did get a message out. That's how folks, unfortunately, that's how folks at some of the folks that I work with found out.
Oh, okay.
They either found out from you guys or they found out from the school, and we recognize that we need to make sure that when we're putting the message out that we're getting it across the board in every possible avenue that's available.
Interesting. Paul, you mentioned that you're the school resources officer. The school is about 2 weeks old now. How are things looking for the kids this year? Things already starting out okay?
They are. They go in spurts, and it just, you know, everybody's still getting their feet wet, trying to find out and figure out how to get to class and so forth. But I mainly spend a lot of my time at the middle schools and elementary schools trying to get that positive high fives and fist bumps to all these kids, and then hang out at the high school a little bit too. Again, just trying to get that positive reinforcement that you know, it's okay to fist bump a police officer.
Yeah, they're not scary guys. No. They're doing their job like everyone else is.
Everything's going smooth. I talked to a group of fifth grade, almost all the fifth graders at Bordeaux yesterday about bullying on campus and respect and personal space and, you know, good touch and unwanted touch and so forth like that.
Oh, and very important issues to talk about. We're here focusing on Shelton today with Paul Campbell from the police department and Ryan Wheaton, city administrator. Anything else this morning, Ryan?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you much, guys, for coming. Go Climbers. It's going to be a big game tomorrow night for sure. Thank you so much for coming in, both you guys, and we'll talk again next time.
Thanks, Jeff.